Oh shit. Oh, look at this. You guys like this makeshift microphone holder? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica Mance, for those of you that don't know, and I've been sick for like over 10 days, right? Because that was when I posted the Ice Spice Munchkin review video, and I have been literally sick since then, which thank you so much. I got like over 100 views on that video, and actually people reached out to me, so I feel really cool about that video. And also, if this video is very choppy, it's because first, I sound very nasally. Number two, I might be in the middle of a cough attack. If I either cut off or my eyes look crazy, it's because I coughed. Anyway, we're back on my channel for a little bit of a more serious conversation. Okay, it's kind of like a book review, but I'm also going to be talking about some personal stuff. That book is A Pair of New Glasses by Chuck C. I took a while to finish this, and I really want to start doing some book reviews because I have a goal of reading 24 books before 2024. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of document the rest of my count of books, and I have like 17 or 16 more books to read, so you'll probably get like most of those in a review. But yeah, this is about sobriety. I feel that although this video will be kind of a mix of a book review and my personal experience, I hope I'm able to kind of like fit in everything in a short period of time. Book review number one, this. My brother is calling. Alright, I'll call you back. The reason why I even got this book was because I had a blackout. I remembered what I was doing before the blackout, and it's something I'm really ashamed of. I'm not ready to talk about that, and even when I am, it's probably not going to be for you people, sorry. But that's besides the point. I got the book because of that, because I was just like, I'm done. I really scared myself that day, and I just really wanted to take the steps. And it's going to be a long, slow journey for me, but it's a start, right? So I've been drinking since I was literally 13 years old. Literally the day I turned 13, I started drinking. So it's been about 17 years of drinking, because I'm now 30. There are a lot of moments throughout those 17 years that I don't want to talk about. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that I've done. There's a lot of things I can't remember, and a lot of memories are altered because of the drinking. Even with all of that, looking back, I still don't want to stop. So that's a problem right there. So yeah, I do feel horrible about a lot of the things. And also it took a long time to acknowledge my alcoholism, like a long time, until recently. It's hard because no one wants to think that they have a problem, right, with drinking. Like, no one wants to know that about themselves. I still like to think of it as a spectrum almost of alcoholism, and I do consider myself more of a functional alcoholic, if that makes sense. If you don't know what that means, a functioning alcoholic is basically I'm dependent on alcohol, but I could still do my like everyday things. So, I'm a college graduate, I own a car, I have friends, I have a family, I have a savings, things like that. Like, I'm a normal person, I'm just dependent on alcohol. And it's just that it's I guess it's not that serious anymore, because I don't drink that much. Like, I know I still have a problem, because you do kind of relapse into old habits, and I say it's difficult because alcohol is still such a normalized and acceptable thing to do, right? To drink, and it's okay. Especially in this country, it's such a normal thing to drink a lot. You know what I mean? It's hard to go out with friends and not have a drink. It's hard to come back from a day of hard work and not want to drink. It's so instilled. So I have learned that the hard way I've learned this like the hard way, right? I've been sick for like over a week. I have not been out, I haven't been drinking, and especially since I'm taking antibiotics now, I really can't drink. But I hear that voice in my head that's like, you wanna get this drink, right? Like, you wanna drink. Like, I know you wanna drink, just drink. Like, one beer is not gonna hurt on antibiotics. Those are the voices I'm hearing in my head. And it's so hard to resist. My body, I could tell the difference. Like, I'm like, no, like, I really feel awful. I cannot take a drink. Like, I'm picking a rational voice, but that little voice is still there, you know? And it's loud. It could get loud sometimes. Now that I was taking my time with my book, but now that I've been like bedridden and like not going out, I was able to finish it and kind of like really reflect on my actions briefly over the past decade. And I wanted to make sure I went to AA and to church before reading this book, before finishing it, but, you know, I haven't been able to do that. And, you know, I still want to finish it and talk about my thoughts on some of the book. So I hope you are interested in tagging along in this video. I know it's going to be a little long, but if you have the time, why not? So there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about in this book overall. Chapter 1, it kind of stood out to me. It goes, I'm convinced that you and I have to do this without getting too serious about it. We get too serious and nothing happens. If we look too hard, we'll never find it. I looked for this thing for 30 years before I got here and I couldn't find it. I came here not looking for it and it found me. Or we found each other or something. I wasn't looking for anything but a way to live one day at a time without drinking. The reason why that kind of stood out to me is because I feel a lot of me drinking casually is because I genuinely feel like it's the only way I could like move forward in life. Like, I need it to function. And in the future, yeah, it would be amazing to think, right, that I could live without drinking like every single day or every other day. So to think that someone felt that, you know, I wasn't looking for anything but a way to live one day at a time without drinking. One day at a time. You know, people always say that when you're going through this, like, take it day by day, you know what I mean? And being sick has been the hardest. I am counting down the days till I have my time to drink a beer. Like, I have been, not like, you know what I mean, like crazy about it, but I'm just like, okay, like, I'm on day 3 of antibiotics, it's 5 days, you know, I could drink on the 6th day and I could do this, and I'm very excited. And I'm not saying get blackout drunk, but the fact that I'm so eager and so excited for that day to come is not right. It's so crazy to me. Yeah, take it day by day, but the day by day is so hard to get through. But one day in the future, I truly hope, you know, getting through life day by day without drinking, without fiending. But that definitely stood out to me. Moving on from that, I also have, you and I could never do that. We've always figured out that anything that was worth doing in excess. When you're an alcoholic, you just keep drinking. And that's the problem with me. Yeah, I'm okay with having like a beer from time to time, and I'll be okay with that. But sometimes if I'm feeling too good and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll have another beer, and then someone will be like, shots, and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good. And then in my brain, like, something flips, because then I can't stop. And I'm a little person, and I will continue until there is nothing left, or until I am done. I said earlier in the video, I do feel like a functioning one, right? Because I can just drink like a beer or two throughout the day, right? And be normal. But then there's that other side, that ugly, nasty side of alcoholism where you cannot stop. Like, everything has to be in so much excess, especially again, living in this country that hypes up drinking all the time, and it's all okay. And it's so hard to like not fall into doing that. Everything is so excessive, and it doesn't even have to be that way. You have to have all of it or nothing at all. So that's why it's so risky with me, because I try to be disciplined, but there are those times where I can't discipline myself, where again, I'm feeling too good or I'm feeling too down, and I'm like, you know what, just another drink, I'll feel better. And then you keep doing it, and you keep convincing yourself, and before you know it, you're done. When the will and the imagination and or the emotions are in conflict, the emotions and the imaginations always win. We drink against our own will. And so people don't do what they do because they want to, but because they have to. That really resonated with me because I'm so aware of alcoholism and my dependency on alcoholism, on alcohol, and I still do it. And I still believe that I could fight this, even though it's bigger and stronger than me. And I still think that I could outwit my dependency on alcohol. And then I drink against my own will. We have talked about the fact that ever since we grew up a little bit, we have had to reverse everything that we were conditioned to believe that was true about life in home, school, and church. And of course, this includes getting out of our own way, self-discovery. It includes surrender, even though we were conditioned to believe that surrender was for the weak. Strong man wins, weak man surrenders. Thus, we thought we had to run our own lives. We had to win the battle. But in this new way of life, we have nothing to win, nothing to prove, and we're not going anyplace. Nothing to win, nothing to prove, and we're not going anyplace. Reading that, I feel that's just a general statement. It doesn't really have to. I don't think I think it's just a life thing. It does apply to alcoholism, but I think anyone could learn, when you realize how life is so different than what people have perceived it as in high school or middle school, and then you just get shot into the real world, and you're just like, what the heck, and dog? Everything is different than what you imagined, but you've been engineered, right? You've been molded into a specific person. You've been molded by outside influences and your own experiences, right? So it's so hard to unwire and rewire. That's what the process I'm going through. One thing I have to get into is therapy, right? There's so much stuff, even before drinking, that I have to fix. And maybe it's a lifelong practice. Maybe it'll get fixed, maybe it won't. But it's just going back to that, nothing to win, nothing to prove, and we're not going anyplace. I like that, because it kind of really takes off the pressure. And it's just like, hey, just do what you have to do. It's not a competition. All you have to do is keep moving on. That's important to me. And in the standing up and being a man department, we can give them hearts and spades. If there was ever a bunch of philosophers on the face of the earth, it's the drunks of the world. We have all the answers for everybody but us. I feel that in my life, I was the strong person to go to, and I could take the punches. I feel that I was already carrying the weight of the world, and then I was trying to help everyone else. And I was like, yo, I could help you. You know what I mean? I know how to fix everything. And I'd never do that for myself. I would drop everything for so many people, and I would never do it for myself. And I just started doing that recently. And a lot of things have changed because I've became more selfish, I guess. Actually selfish. I've been called selfish so many times by people that I love me and people that hate me. Honestly, looking back, it's just like, I didn't have shit for anybody, you know what I mean? I shouldn't have had anything for anybody, you know what I mean? I was already being called selfish. I should have just been actually selfish, right? And have the answer for myself. In 29 years, I have never caught a non-alcoholic wondering whether or not they were an alcoholic. In 29 years, it's always been an alkie that's trying to figure out some way to beat this rap. And again, I've already touched this. I keep thinking that I'm bigger than this, that I am stronger than what I'm depending on. It makes me laugh. It's a defeated laugh. It's like two different me's, you know? It's like one saying, you shouldn't do this. Another one's like, yeah, I'm still gonna do it anyway. Now, you think that when we arrive in this world, they would try to teach us how to be friends with ourselves. I feel that that's a relationship that most people don't focus on. Loving themselves, being friends with themselves. They teach us so many other things in life, except how to be okay with ourselves and then work on ourselves. And even selfishness has this like negative connotation. Being selfish is bad. And it took a very long time and a lot of hurt and not a lot of healing to realize that I need to be friends with myself. I need to be friends with all of these alternate versions of myself in order to combat the alcoholism, I think. In my opinion, the definition of sobriety is the ability to live comfortably, peacefully, and joyously with me. This is sobriety. And I really focused on that. He goes on to say, and anything short of it is partial sobriety. And that's what I feel, what I'm going through, right? Partial sobriety. Well, at least I'm trying. That's the problem, right? That I can't live with myself. I'm not comfortable. I'm not at peace with me, and I don't have a joyous time with myself. And those are big red flags for myself. And and I need to find the root of that. It's amazing reading this book and seeing so much that I could relate to and still not change. For 25 years, the only way I could stand what I looked at was to be half in the bag. And this was one of my big problems and yours. And although I could say that I do drink often, I feel that it's improved. Like before, growing up, it really was just so I could be okay with myself. Like, and that's sad to feel that way as a young teenager, as an adolescent. I think about teenager, adolescent Erica, and I feel so bad for her. I feel so bad that she was drinking in the morning before school, or during school, or right after school, because she didn't like herself. It's so wrong. It's so sad and so heartbreaking that a lot of people feel this way, you know, even up until my age or past. Now I you know, with everything I've said, I could stand myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm not comfortable, you know, I'm not having the best grand old time with myself, but I could stand myself now. And now it's my duty to tell you that your only hope is to find a spiritual experience that might save you. It's your only chance. There's a lot of emphasis in AA regarding a higher power. A lot of religion were involved. And that's, I feel like that's been my hardest thing to really come to terms with. Surrendering. We have that issue, and again, it's a people issue. It hurts the people who are alcoholics, but surrendering is generally a hard thing to do as people. And I feel that if I don't learn how to start to surrender more, it's gonna really prohibit me from really growing from this. Now, the last thing I'm gonna read from this book is the self-contamination that goes with the disease of alcoholism. How we condemned ourselves, how we hated ourselves for the failure that we were making in the business of living. Now, the reason why that's big to me is because you really do hate yourself. Like, no one's gonna hate you more than you hate yourself. No one's gonna hurt you more than the way you're hurting yourself. And that is just a fact and the truth. I have done so much mean things to me. Sometimes I feel like I have no emotions anymore. I really do feel almost invincible in that fact. Like sometimes I find myself being sensitive, but I'm always like, I get mad about a lot of things, but then when I really think about it, I'm just like, you will never compare to me. Okay, you will never be as shitty as me. You don't know what I've done to myself, okay? You don't know what I've done to myself. And that sucks to know. It's really bad when you've been so mean to yourself for so long, not for no reason, but you've let it get so out of control. And I'm just so done with that. It is the most exhausting thing. I'm so tired of doing that to myself, and it's been such a hard habit to get out of. But yeah. Yeah, this book was rough to get through because it was just like a lot of like self-realization, but also relieving to know that other people feel this way and I'm not the only one. You know, overall for the book review, I would recommend that even if you aren't alcohol dependent, I think that you should pick it up and read it. It's an easy read. It's literally a transcript of one of Chuck's AA meetings. There's like a little place where you can write notes. It's a good book overall. I would probably rate it at like 3 out of 5. And the reason why is because I'm reading this out of trying to create a new healthy habit for myself. It's not like a literary masterpiece and life-changing. It's life-changing for me in particular, not like drastic life-changing, but like something that's gonna help me. Easy read, but it's not crazy. You know what I mean? And if you do think you have an issue with abuse of alcohol or whatever, I would say this is a good starter book. This is something really laid back. It's a relatable reading for AA, and I think it's a good place to start. The only thing I don't like is I don't believe in God, and it was a bit hard to get through because the author, or the guy Chuck, is very passionate about what he believes, and he brought up God and stuff a lot, and it's hard to not turn away from that. It's just because I'm not super comfortable with religion yet, and again, goes back to just like surrendering, possibly. I don't know. I don't have to believe in the God that this person believes in specifically, but I do believe that spiritually I should get, more involved in that in general. But that's the book that I've just finished, and this is just also a personal journey that I'm sharing with you. I didn't know if I should share this on YouTube. Like, I knew I wanted to make a video for me to look back at. I guess before I go into that, I can't say that from reading this book, I'm gonna be 100% sober. My journey is different from others, and honestly, I don't want to stop drinking. I don't. In my heart, I believe I'm stronger than the alcohol, despite being proved wrong again and again and again. That's my own journey, okay? It still doesn't mean that I can't take steps to try to stop this. I have to start trying the things that I haven't tried, and that's reading books, whether that be A New Pair of Glasses or the AA, or books that revolve around alcohol abuse. I've never gone to AAA. I haven't tried to find a spiritual expression or faith to get me through this. I never not tried to put myself in situations that might cause me to drink, and I haven't found other ways of expressing myself other than drinking. So I'm trying all the things that I haven't been trying, and that's why I'm recommending this book and doing a book review and kicking off my book review series with this book specifically. I feel like this is a very vulnerable and sensitive situation that I'm talking about. I feel like I am talking about it on here because for so long, I thought I was in this fight alone. All right, despite everything, it still feels like I'm alone in this. So many people have brought up my drinking problem throughout the years in unproductive ways, I should say. Never in a helpful way. It's always been like some passive aggressive thing, or talking behind my back, things like that. Like, I had a friend who told me, hey, you only hang out at breweries, and that's not something I want to do. But it was like an outburst. Or I had another friend who told my partner at the time, hey, is Erica still drinking every day? And it hurts. Because people are so quick to shame you, you know what I mean? They shame you and they never just help you grow. They just want to do it in the worst way possible, even though you already hate yourself and you're already feeling really bad about it. And this is something I've struggled for a long time. Okay, 17 years is a long time, and I never really got the support I needed until recently. So, I got that forgiveness from a lot of people throughout the years and whatnot, but I never really got the support that I needed. There are a couple people, though, I would say maybe 2 or 3 that wanted to go to AA with me. So you know who you are. The fact that people were willing to bring me to AA with them, or to come with me because they just really wanted to help in some way. It means a lot. Someone, really helped me combat this issue and bring it to my attention in a way I understand, and was very consistent about it. And from there, I was able to kind of help myself. No one can force me to realize that I have a problem, but you can do your best to guide someone so that they realize themselves. You know what I mean? You can do your best. There are productive ways to bring this up, because trust me, the person already feels really bad about it. They already hate themselves. So bringing up stuff like that is not gonna work. Being passive aggressive, talking behind your friend's back is not gonna fix the problem. But yeah, from there, I was able to surround myself with people who understand, who can keep an eye out for me and whatnot. And now I could reach out to others and be okay. I'm okay with saying, hey guys, I abuse alcohol, or I have an alcohol dependency issue. It comes out a little bit more easier now. And I don't get like bad feedback usually. Like people are really supportive of it. It's super weird, but it's nice. It's like, hey, I'm an alcoholic and I'm trying to do my best. I'll have a beer in my hand and be like, I'm an alcoholic and I'm doing my best here. But the reason why I decided to, going back to it, is the reason why I wanted to put this on YouTube publicly was because I just want others to know that there's others people, believe it or not. And even if you're like me, where you're like, I still believe I'm alone, you could watch this and be like, oh, hey, I'm not alone. There are others, and it's going to be a long, tough journey. And everyone has different circumstances and their own way of grappling with life and how they want to do things. Okay, so there's no judgment there. And I'm not 100% sure where this journey is going to lead me. It's been nice so far, not depending on alcohol as much and doing that. But yeah, that's it, really. I just wanted to share my book review and my personal experience as to why I'm reading this book. And I do want to follow up in the future and give y'all updates every couple of months regarding this. Because again, it's a personal thing that I'm going through, and I don't want to share every single detail. It's going to be a rough journey, and there's going to be the good, the bad, the ugly of it. It's just for me to experience. You know what I mean? It's for me to experience, and I want to give updates again just because I feel like I want to. I'm not the strongest person, and that's okay. And it's hard to be vulnerable, and that's okay, but I'm being vulnerable right now, aren't I? You know, this book is just the start for me. There's a lot that I have to work on, but I'm taking the steps, and that's what it is. It's a lifelong practice. I look forward to going to my first AA meeting. I'm going to try going to church, but I'm looking at different ways to express like spiritual release. And I'm doing other things. I've been making a lot more content to kill my time. I've been reading, I've been writing, I'm going to therapy soon, trying to get back into working out, like things to keep me away from like drinking all the time. Or moments though where I haven't lost control in a long time though, since I got this book, right? Since that happened, but it could happen. I'm human. People make mistakes. Okay, you're gonna be able to move forward. It's gonna take some time, but you're gonna be able to move forward and it's gonna be okay. That is my book review. I hope you enjoyed this. I know this is a bit of a long video and a very serious one, but it's something I feel that I really want to share. If you have anything that you want to discuss in the comments, feel free to comment down below. Please subscribe if you're interested in future content. I got a new subscriber. I'm at 127. I had a goal of 145 subscribers before the month of September ended. I don't think I'm going to reach that because I got sick for like over a week and it just kind of pushed back all the content that I wanted to make, like collab videos and stuff. So we'll see where I'll end up. This is the video today. It's a long one. Thank you so much. It means a lot if you got this far because this is such a big deal to me to be sharing. And also it's my first book review, so it's fun, it's serious, it's content. So it hits all my little check marks. But other than that, I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.